Good morning to you all. Hey, 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗥𝗘, I'm guessing that's a typo, but as somebody who grew up with Mighty Morphing Power Rangers, we'll go with it. Hello everyone. Hope you all had a really nice weekend. I am not going to lie to you all, I did not get that much done in terms of doing any development over the weekend. Yeah, there are some people out there that would be like, I've done so much, and they'd have just jumped into creative or put something together really quickly. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do that much. I had other things that I needed to do this weekend just past, so I haven't managed to get a lot done. What I did get done, though, was, if we just jump over to here, I have recorded about 300, just over 300 at this point, voice lines. So we have the fisherman and the farmer completely done. They're all cut up and ready to go. I also recorded all of the builder sounds. That's all done. And all of the announcer sounds. They're all done. But I'm in the process of recording all of the 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗥𝗘 sounds. But yesterday was an interesting day. My wife, Mrs. 𝗘𝗤𝗓, I had her do the voice of the female baker. So that's something that today I need to cut up. So we have to like load up the female baker sounds that were the original ones, and then we have to save all of the female baker lines that she recorded. We have to cut them up and put those in. So that's something that we need to get done today. It's more voice-based stuff than it is mod-based stuff, I guess, but it's still mod-based. Part of making any sort of mod-related thing is sound. If you've ever played a game with the sound turned down, you'll know what I mean. It kind of loses some of its atmosphere if you turn it down. So sound is just as important as anything else, as far as I'm concerned. I'm very sound-orientated, so yeah, that's something that we're going to get done today. I think is just cutting up her sound files. It was her first time doing any voice recording stuff at all, including her first time doing an accent. It's pretty much my wife's voice, but doing an accent. I'm still working on my recordings, just working through this flu. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Knight. The flu sucks. It's not pleasant. Like having a stuffy nose and blocked sinuses. I mean, I have narrow sinuses to begin with, like really narrow sinuses, as I know you do. And it's not a pleasant experience on a day-to-day basis. When you have the flu, though, it feels 20 times worse. It's just one of the worst feelings. I remember many moons ago, I was in a band, and if I ever had the flu when I was in that band, I would just feel like crap. Like, it was horrible. Of course, one of the upsides of that was being on a stage. They have these like big halogen light type looking. They're really hot. The stage lights, and they essentially just dehydrate you. It's just like really bright. Like, one of the things that like people always say is, "Oh, I get stage fright. I couldn't sing in a band." You don't really have to worry about that. You can't see any of them because the light is so blinding. Because the room's dark. Because the idea is that the room goes dark and you're on stage and you're lit up. You can't see anything. It's a bit like if you've got like a light shining in your face and you're in a dark room, you can't see the rest of the room, whereas if somebody takes that light away, your eyes will adjust and you'll be able to see a little bit clearer. So you don't really notice anybody in the room. You'll maybe see a few people in the front row, but it seems like such a small thing, you don't really pay any attention. The rest are just shadows. But the heat from those lights dehydrates you, and it pretty much, if you're blocked up, like in any way, like sinus-wise, it just dissipates relatively quickly. Like, it just dries up. The problem with it drying up is when you've got all of that gunk in your sinuses drying up, it hurts. So although you're not blocked as much, it's drying and it's yeah, it's not a nice feeling. Anyway, let's go back to mod related things as opposed to talking about nasal passages. That's what we do here on tea sessions. We take a little jaunt into different realms of conversation. Okay, so sound files. We need to open up Audacity. That's the first thing we need to do. And we also need to open up the pack maker, and I need to go and find where the baker is. So sounds, mob, female, baker, stuff. There we go. So these are all the sound files. We have ahem, back to work, beautiful weather, bread burning, bye now, bye, cheers, love, coughing, cough, all of the sounds. Hello, glorious T-Man. Hello, Sir Durple. Hope you're having a nice morning, man. How do I like my tea? Cold or hot? Hot. Always hot. I don't mind cold tea. But anyone that knows me will probably be able to tell you exactly how I drink my tea and what I drink. Certainly Lag Monster, as I got him addicted to it, and everyone else too. Yeah, I mean most people will know what I drink that know me. I tend to have Yorkshire tea. I'm a Yorkshire born man. My dad is from Sheffield. My mother is from Sheffield. So I grew up early part of my life in Yorkshire. I have very, very, very stern, strict Yorkshire grandparents, or did do. And they wouldn't even have, they wouldn't stock coffee in their house. My mother actually got into drinking coffee when I was relatively young, and whenever we would go and visit my grandparents in Sheffield, she would turn around to my grandmother and say, "Oh, I'll have a coffee," because my nan would always say, "Oh, do you want a brew?" Which is an indicator of, do you want a tea? You don't really brew coffee, but you brew tea. And my mum would go, "Oh, I'll have a coffee." And for about 4 years, my nan still made her tea, until the point where my mum said, "You know, I always ask for coffee, and you keep giving me tea." And my nan turned around and said, "You're in Yorkshire, you're having tea." That was the end of it. So after that, my mother started taking coffee with her so she could make her own. Because my mother can't drink tea, so she likes it, but she can't drink it. But I think if you've got like any sort of allergy or anything to tea in Yorkshire, it's just Darwinism. They're just killing the week off. Like, you're not needed. Okay, so let's load up the voice lines that Mrs. Enigma did yesterday for me. I was genuinely... Look, I'll level with you. There are a couple of these bits where I know that it's not as English sounding as what I would obviously be able to make it, big being English. But she did a very, very... I was genuinely extremely impressed with her, guys. Not just because she's my wife, but because it was the first time she tried to do anything like this. And she sat there and sort of figured out how she wanted the character to be and stuff before she started recording. I know there was a reason I married her. Alright, so the first line... Oh, I think I trimmed that too close. Oh, no, I didn't. So the first line is... that is the wrong one. There we go, female. Okay, so it's just the throat clear, which is just a hem. Alright, so we need to make a new folder on the desktop as well for this. So this needs to be called Baker Female. So this is technically modpack related, right? This is, you know, this is doing modpack stuff, but at the same time, it's sound related. It's not like doing any sort of configuring or anything like that. It is what it is. It's sound. But as I said before, if you've ever played a game with the sound turned down, you'll know it is not the same. Sound is an often overlooked element of movies. It's an often overlooked element of gaming videos. It's an often overlooked element of games in general. When was the last time you paid attention to the credits and looked for the sound editor? Or the microphone holders? Or the Foley artist? Like, you just don't look at it. You don't look for it. A lot of people don't even realize what Foley is, right? Does anybody in the channel know what Foley is? Anybody in chat know? I mean, I imagine someone like Knight might know. Maybe 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗚𝗠𝗔. Men of the World. Maybe 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗥𝗘. So, Foley is essentially when you watch a movie and you hear a horse riding, they don't mic up the horse. They can't microphone up a horse. When you've got like a... Let's take a show that a lot of people will have probably watched. So let's take something like Game of Thrones. And they're recording in a castle and you've got all those men walking around. And then you've got the two people talking in the foreground, right? So you've got all these soldiers in the background doing stuff. And you've got the two people talking in the foreground. The microphone can't catch all of those soldiers. They have to microphone up for the sound between the conversational exchange between the two main characters in the foreground. So they don't record any of the ambient sounds, as it were, like the background noise. So once it's done, it gets sent to a Foley artist. You can go to YouTube and type in Foley art, and it will come up with some great videos. There's literally just a guy who is sat in a room, surrounded by stuff, watching a screen to see what's happening. So, like, he might watch, let's say, an assassin who's wearing leather or something like that, and they're sort of moving quietly. Now, we know that they would be moving quietly, but there's this element of artistic license. There might be... the Foley artist might take some leather and just scrunch it ever so slightly or twist it to make a noise as they're going. And that's called Foley art. It's an often overlooked element if you watch cheaper made movies or even web-based shows. They won't have them. So sound is extremely important. It's even more important to me on a personal level. So, yeah. Sound is what we're going to be doing for the first part of today. Okay, so that is the throat clear. So we have to take everything else after that point and remove it. So all of the rest of this sound, we have to just delete. As counterintuitive as that sounds. Because we need to break up all of these bits, right? So I should have zoomed out more. That's what I should have done. The problem is seeing where the thing is. To do, there we go. Take it from there. So there are 75 in total voice lines for the female baker that Mrs. 𝗔𝗔𝗔 recorded yesterday. Let's go down to here. Okay, so now once that's done, we've got now we just have the clip on its own. So we have to export it, and it has to be an 𝗥𝗔𝗡𝗖𝗏 file, which is a type of sound format that quite a few games use. Minecraft in particular is famously uses 𝗥𝗔𝗡𝗏 files. So we need to export it as a .ogg. We need to put it inside Baker Female. And we need to name this the same as that up there. So we need to name it 𝗏𝗏. And then we need to go into here, and the artist's name isn't me for this one. So I'm going to put my wife's initials, NH. And then that one's done. So now we can go back and move along to the next one. Oh, that one or... There are a lot of different a lot of different voices that I've recorded personally over this past weekend. As I said before, I've done just over 300 myself, and then obviously Mrs. Enigma has recorded 75. Some more sounds actually have been, relatively quickly, let's just jump over to this document, some more sounds have been assigned to people. So, as you know from last week, if you were watching the stream, I have taken doing the announcer, mostly because I don't know who to pass it to. Female announcer has nobody. The female baker is now NH, which is Mrs. Enigma. Blacksmith male has been passed over to my good friend Sir Tom, or McFadface, as he is called on the Random Fandom Discord. Builder male I've recorded, that's all done, it just needs to be cut up. And then Citizen Male, Lag Monster, has decided to take that one on, as well as the Male Enchanter. And then the Clever Male General needed one because we're reworking the Enchanter, so I've started doing that. That's the one that I'm in the process of doing. The Clever Female Enchanter, Tink, who is 𝗖𝗛𝗘𝗖𝗞's wife, who has a great voice. I've heard her in the background. Very big lungs is all I can say. Just she's got there's a lot of power. I've mostly heard it when she's been shouting at 𝗖𝗛𝗘𝗞. But yeah, I think Clever Enchanter and Clever General is gonna be well suited. And then the Deep Male for General and the Smelter have been sent to a gentleman called Rid, who was introduced to me by Knight. Delivery Female is Tink, and then we have Delivery Male, which is 𝗖𝗛𝗘𝗖𝗞, and then the Farmer Female is Nimril, and I actually messaged her earlier on. If she's available at some point during the stream, I might have her join the stream, and I will teach her how to do some West Country related accent stuff on stream. If not, I'll be doing it after. The Male Farmer, I've recorded that, that's all done. Fisherman is all done. The Foreigner has been sent to Chuck. And then we have Foreigner Female. I need to speak to Nimril about that, because she knows someone. 𝗤𝗏𝗏. Guard Knight Female doesn't have a voice at the moment. The Guard Knight Male has been passed over to a certain 𝗘𝗙𝗘𝗚. And then Guard Ranger Male is Lag Monster. Lumberjack Female is Nimril. Lumberjack Male is Lag Monster. And then Miner Male is 𝗖𝗛𝗘𝗖𝗞. So we've got a few of them done. There's a lot less white on the board now, which is good. It means that we can move on slowly to doing other things. Okay, so we need to export this one as back to work then. So one of the reasons that I'm doing this on stream as opposed to doing it in private, as I know it's boring, I know that it's not that entertaining to watching me cut up and save individual files. It's important for the people that are going to be recording to know. So the way that I did mine, and obviously because my wife, you know, she's not used to any of this stuff. This was all very alien to her. She just followed the same format that I follow. So normally what I do is I load all of these sound files up into VLC and I'll play them one by one. So I'll play them, then I'll think about it, then I'll record that sound clip, then hit stop, then go back, and I'll do that. So they're all in one sound file. So I've not received any sounds off of anybody else yet. But it has been only a weekend, and I told everybody, you know, you take about a month. Like, it's going to take me a while to do all of the rest of the stuff. if any point you can hear like this noise, I don't know if that's coming through. It's me sliding my hand across my keyboard, which I often do when I'm working. I apologize. Alright, so this needs to be shortened, I remember this. Just want to fit this into a certain bit, so I think it's up to there. Yeah, so it's up to there. Rid has a glorious voice. He does. He does have a glorious voice. It was the first time I'd spoke to him the other day. I asked him the most important question. Are we supposed to hear the voiceover? Because I can't. Oh, that's interesting. Let me have a little look here. Oh, okay. Yeah, you won't be able to hear it. That's a very fair point. Let me try changing this over. Alright, you guys will have to let me know if you can hear it now.
Look at the clouds. Well, that one looks like me.
Let's do a save on that. Because that's the... Oh, I've messed up. That's what I've done. Because that's all one thing from there.
Alright, back to work then.
Okay, so that needs to be deleted. So it's not that. It's...
Oh.
That needs to go.
Oh my, what a beautiful day.
So that needs to be cut out. Cut out. I think that's the last bit.
Me. Wed.
Yeah, so it's up to there. Okay, so... Let's try and do that without screwing up this time. Enigma. You naughty boy, you. Hey, Yappy! Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a nice morning. Or evening, as it may be for you. But still, it's morning. Morning is relative to when I wake up. So, good morning. Export song. This should have been the beautiful weather one altogether. I am doing sound-related stuff this morning.
And that one looks like...
Oh, that was... Oh, did I not do that then? Oh, I may have bugged that up. Hang on a second. I should not be doing this level of checking things over when I've not been up that long. Yeah, I did. I missed a bit out.
That one looks like me. And that one looks like Wed.
Alright, so that needs to be removed. And then...
And that one looks like...
That one needs to be removed.
Oh my, what a beautiful...
Right, so then it's that I need to keep. I need to not screw this up. So apologies if I ignore you in chat. This is not something I want to screw up. One, because it's important to make sure that you don't have clipped audio. Like, you don't want clipped audio in a game. And two, because it's something that I'm doing for, you know, it's an inclusion of my wife, and I don't want to... If there's going to be a thing that I mess up, I don't want it to be her one. I'd rather mess up mine, where I can easily re-record it. I don't want to waste any of my wife's time doing re-records because I messed something up and didn't save something. I once made a small soundboard app, but it was meant to be a piano which takes sounds and plays it at a different pitch. It was a failed project because I couldn't figure out how to change the pitch of the sound. I enjoy piano. A couple of the people that are watching may be aware of this. I do enjoy playing some piano. When it comes to musical instruments, I'm very much a jack of all trades, master of none sort of thing. Like, I'm not very... I've never mastered a particular instrument. I learnt enough to compose and then moved on with my life. There are times where I wish I'd have focused a little bit more, but I think piano's the one that I play the most. Mostly because it's been around for so long that there are a lot of apps that work well. So at the moment, I don't have any of my music, physical music production stuff here in the US, as I sold it all to come here. But app-based things, like if there's not really an app to get a good sounding guitar, and if any of you tell me that there is, you're wrong. There isn't. There's no imitation guitar sound that sounds good on a phone where you just strum like strumming a phone is just weird. But for piano, it does pretty good. In honesty, it's not that bad.
That one looks like.
Right, so that's the one that I need to cut now.
Oh dear.
Wait, let me just double check that. Oh, really? Did I still screw it up? How? How did I do this?
That one.
So it's that there. That one there. It's there. Oh, that's going to be opening a thing. Right. Listen to that again and make sure that I actually did get it. Fantastic. Okay, can move on to the next goddamn one now. So, let's remove that.
Oh dear. The bread's burning.
I need to take from there. Bum 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 bum. Okay. Now I need to move that back along now so I can see the rest of my stuff. So that's just bread burning.
See you later.
So one of the things that one of the reasons I keep making a bunch of mistakes this morning is because as I said at the beginning of this stream, I don't lie to you. I find it incapable of lying. It's not something I'm able to do. When I call these my morning tea sessions, I'm being serious. I have only been, I think I was awake 10 minutes before I started the stream. I had a cup of tea, and sat down, and then made another cup of tea just before I hit to actually start, and then that was it. I've not eaten anything. Well, actually, that's technically not true. I ate a small little like fruit pie type of thing. It was horrible. It wasn't. I don't really consider that eating. It was disgusting. Yeah, it was not pleasant. I have some deep regrets about eating it, in honesty. Are you planning on making this mod pack free? Do you plan to get profit from mod packs? No. I don't. It's technically against Microsoft's terms of service for Minecraft. I know that a lot of people still do it, and that's fine. It's not something that I would do, not just for that reason, but the primary reason is I don't believe in shutting out enjoyment for people It's not... A mod pack is something that you've made of different parts. It's a Frankenstein, right? You're like taking the hand from one mod, the leg from another, the head from another, and then you're stitching it together, and then you're adding some stuff into it, and then you shoot it with electric to bring it all to life. It's not really mine, right? It's not my thing. Like, it's my vision, but it's comprised of other parts. And yes, there's a lot of stuff that I've done that are custom, doing the voices and so on. But it's not, yeah, I don't think it would be fair to charge people or anything like that to be able to play on a pack. It should be open up to the public and anyone should be able to play on it.
See you later. Bye now.
And the other thing that you have to bear in mind with whenever you're making anything that's going to be consumed by an end user is how do you want to get money? Like I don't particularly care about getting money back out of time that I put into this. The same as I don't with the rest of my YouTube channel. I don't earn a penny off of my YouTube channel. It's not something that I get. I do it because, one, I enjoy doing it personally. It's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy playing Minecraft with a bunch of people that I love. I Lag Monster. I love the guy. He's great. He's one of the nicest people. He works his ass off. He's genuinely a really awesome person. He's one of my favorite people. Nemrel. Nemrel just makes me laugh. She's got a really great sense of humor. She's funny and extremely intelligent, and she's well traveled, and she's had some interesting experience, and her viewpoints are always great. It's genuinely an honor to have conversations with her. Lady Peanut Fish, it's just adorable. She's a tiny. She reminds me of the Gremlins from Gremlins. Sorry, Peanut. She's so small and she's so vicious. And I really like that. Maybe it's because I'm a tall guy, but when something so small is being so aggressive, it's kind of like having like a little Yorkshire Terrier, like yap yap yap. Yeah. The magician's just adorable. He is what we all call him. He is our adorable boy. He's just so nice. Anybody that's spoken to the magician will tell you the same. He is one of the most polite people. He's just a really, really nice guy. Shallon's a very intelligent... he can't climb ladders to save his life, and he may be one of the worst Minecraft players I've ever played with, but he's super funny. Zeph's a really cool dude. Like, Zeph's just he's a really solid... He has a clear vision of what he wants to do. He keeps himself to himself quite a lot. He's kind of like our hermit. He kind of like tucks himself away, doesn't really interact with me all that much. He's a super cool guy. And it's the same with all of them. 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗚𝗠𝗔. I've known 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗚𝗠𝗔 for what, like, geez, nearly 2 years? Maybe? Just shy of 2 years, something like that. Yeah, awesome guy. Archon I've known for a while. I've known a lot of the randoms for some time. And then even some of the newer people or people that are going to be joining in the very near future. They wouldn't have been extended an invite if I didn't have a genuine respect for them. And I think that's the thing that kind of makes the randoms interesting, is because that everybody treats each other kind of like a family. It's not like we're doing it for money. We're not doing it to earn. We're doing it because we like spending time with each other. We do it because we like entertaining people. So a mod pack doesn't need to have any profit attached to it. It's my love that I'm doing for me that I'll then share with everybody else. There'll be a little, obviously there's credits and stuff, which will probably help my channel, and, you know, the randoms and stuff for the credits for things like the voices and actually putting the pack together. But yeah, no monetary gain from it at all, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Cheers, love.
Too much of the world is centered around money. Passion. I think passion is a thing that's slowly just dying out.
Right away.
Oh, that's part of the other one as well.
Cheers, love. Right away.
Yeah, that's part of Cheers, love. I remember. So this is essentially. You did that. No. So, the voice that I'm working on at the moment, this is for Baker Female. I'm doing the edit. I don't expect to be doing the edits for anybody else, which is why I'm showing it on stream, because it takes a while. But for this particular voice magician, and hello and welcome to the stream, is my wife, my Mrs. 𝗘𝗡𝗥𝗘, recorded the female Baker. She has never done any voice-related stuff before in the past or anything. She doesn't understand how sound editing or anything like that works, so I just had her do a bunch of clips, and I get to do all of the lovely editing. Can you do my editing too? No. You do your own editing. I have enough problems doing my editing. The sheer amount of editing that I do on just a day-to-day basis is yeah, it's a bit extreme. Because there isn't just what you see me doing as well. Like that's why I kind of you know, you should bear in mind is when I'm done with this. So once I'm done with this stream, I will go and I'll make some breakfast / lunch because I'm not eating anything, and then once I've had something to eat, I will go and I'll check my Discord because I can see messages rolling in. So I will go and eat, and then I will sit back down, and I will do some recording for Random Craft, so I can actually get an episode out. Then once that's done, I have some graphic design work that I have to do for some client, and then once that's done, I've got some educational stuff that I'll probably need to do with Nimril. So my day's pretty filled. And I still have to go and do shopping later tonight. Ridiculous. I need some COD level editing done. Control-Alt-Delete my sinuses. You can actually, interestingly, you can get your sinuses bored, apparently, They like get this weird drill thing and shove it up your nose. I don't recommend it. I've seen it done, or rather the aftermath of it. And although, yeah, apparently it's really good for the sinuses afterwards, obviously once it's healed, it just doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good at all. It's not for me. Oh, I missed a bit off of that, I think.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was the sorry off the end. Foolish, foolish Enigma. So, if you were to imagine, I'm gonna shop a voice in chat whilst I do voice stuff. How about this? Let's have a little bit of a conversation. So we're gonna go smelter. So anyone that's not really sure what a smelter is, essentially like a blacksmith, like a smithy. Someone who makes stuff using metal. So the miner will mine metal, the smelter is going to smelt it down to make stuff. How do you picture that voice sounding for a smelter? If you were to be voicing a smelter, how would you make them sound? What sort of accent would you give them? Would you make them gruff? How would you do it? I'm interested to know, because I may end up doing it. Old person. An old person. But how old? Very old? Like wizened? Like really like Newcastle? A Geordie Smithy. Geordie's one of the hardest accents to do. The inflections alone in Geordie are super intense. You can caricature it, but it will sound like crap. You need to... No one can do a Geordie voice as good as a Geordie, right? Naturally, like the Geordies, they can spot a fake a mile away. Gruff Scottish with wit. Yeah, Scottish I can see. Geordie I can see. Obviously I could see a Yorkshire-based accent as well, with it being smithing. Certainly, anybody that is aware of the north of England and is interested in things, maybe like a Deedar, which is what the word is for somebody from Sheffield. There's a reason that I think of Sheffield. One, my family's from there. Two, it's the place that genuinely created stainless steel. Like, it was created in Sheffield. Sheffield steel is, I mean, it's renowned, especially for cutlers.
Help! Help! I can't fend him off with a cupcake.
So an old person with a rough voice, either Geordie or Scottish. Interesting. Now, Scottish, I think I could probably spend a day sort of getting to grips with some of the Scottish. If it was Geordie, I genuinely, Derple, I wouldn't even attempt it. I know that I wouldn't. Geordie, just as an off thing, Geordie. Yeah, she can't. Yeah, so this is the baker. So she says, "Help, help! I can't fend them off with a cupcake." So it's when they're asking for help for guards. Northern Ireland. I don't really see. To me, like. The Irish sort of accent to me lends itself very well to like a rogue. I think that's because the way that I picture an Irish as being kind of not they're very, very, very good at doing things quietly. Historically speaking, they're very good at doing something and not actually I say not thinking, that's the wrong thing. not doing it out in the open, but being able to do it in secret. They're extremely talented at anything that's sort of clandestine. The Irish, they're brilliant at it. I genuinely don't know why we don't get like most of our spies from Northern Ireland. Also, they're tough. Like, I know that you're a well-travelled man, Derpor, so you'll be aware. And the Irish, like, a good solid Irishman, yeah, difficult. They're tough men. Again, might be slightly biased. My grandfather's Irish, but yeah, on my mother's side, not my father's. On my father's side, he was a born and bred Yorkshireman. So this was. Have I skipped some? Coughing. Oh, no, it's danger near. I see. There was a point where the Irish drank more than the English, and now it's kind of flipped over, where the Irish were seen as these drunk, useless people. To the English, and honestly, it's the other way around. The Irish are they're formidable. I mean, they really are, and they don't particularly care what the world thinks of them, which I really appreciate. They just don't give a damn.
It's been days since I last ate.
Also, some of the funniest comedians in the world are from that island. Oh, I 100% agree, Knight. I don't drink anymore, at all. I was never a great drinker. I used to be able to put it away quite well. Being a big guy, you know, it takes more alcohol to pollute the system. But if there was any other time, and apologies, it's going to start getting a little bit blue in this stream. But if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. Right, so there are if there was any other point where you woke up, so like you wake up after and you've got no memory of what happened the night before. You wake up, you've got no memory of what happened the night before. Your bank account is empty, and you've got bruises and cuts on you. You would go, oh crap, someone's fucking mugged me. But with alcohol, you wake up with those three things, no memory of last night, cuts and bruises, bank account empty, and you go, man, last night must have been an awesome night. There's nothing else that you would say that about. There's nothing else that you would ever say that about. It's such a weird social thing that we have where we're like, oh, and you woke up and went, oh, my hand's missing. Oh man, it must have been a great night last night. Like, you just, no one, but for some reason with alcohol, you wake up, you've been poisoned, you don't remember anything, bank account's empty, covered in cuts and bruises from falling over, but you've got no memory of it. At any other point, that's a mugging, is what that is.
I hate the rain. Who wants to eat cake in the rain?
But for some reason,
Cake in the rain.
with alcohol, it's seen as perfectly legit. Nothing's wrong with that. Go ahead, knock one back. Honestly, anybody here that is younger that hasn't drank anything, you're not missing out on much. Genuinely, it's all right. It's not. You can have, look, I'm not gonna lie, I can't. You can have some fun. Genuinely, you can have some fun when drinking, but it goes on who you're with. there are people that I have got drunk with in the past. Back when I used to drink, which is kind of a prerequisite for doing any sort of band-related stuff, right? Like, you kind of have to drink. And there's people that I got drunk with that were so much fun to get drunk with. They were hysterical. One of my favorite people to get drunk with back in the day was a guy called Crazy Nick. Crazy Nick had long ginger hair and he was absolutely insane, hence his name. There was one point where he got drunk. We had commandeered, I don't know how we'd commandeered it, but the old police helmet, the one that's sort of like conical, it's got like a cone sort of looking thing on the top. If you imagine like an English bobby police officer, that sort of shaped helmet. We'd commandeered one of those from somewhere. I guess a police officer at some point during the day. Somebody turned up with one. And Crazy Nick put this hat on and immediately turned into a police officer. Straight away. There was no practice. Just put it on, police officer. And there was a kid playing golf, and Crazy Nick ran over to him and was asking if he had permits. Asking to see his identification, his paperwork, just generally being insane. This kid's dad was over in the distance. We saw him walking towards Crazy Nick with a golf club. I was thinking he's gonna die. I'm gonna end up being beat the crap out of with a golf club. We basically said to his dad, like, there's something that he's mentally retarded. Like, it's not his fault.
What's the point in making all this bread when there's no place to rest my head? I need a house.
So yeah, he was a lot of fun to get drunk with. Another guy was a friend of mine called Nathan, who once got so drunk he chased a bunch of boys on bikes thinking they were UFOs. The problem is there's a level, there's a cutoff point with alcohol, right? There's this point where when you're drinking, you have to know where your limit is, and you can stop at that point where you're giddy and having fun. If you go past that point, you start to become a bad person, and if you go really far past that point, you're going to have a bad night, and certainly a bad morning the day after. Day since I last ate, download the main family space. I'm sure that 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗚 probably has many. This isn't like an oddity, like or anything particularly to me. I don't think. I'm positive that another wizened old man like 𝗘𝗡𝗚𝗚, who's well travelled, probably has plenty of stories of getting drunk with people. And I'm sure that he would probably say the same. Yeah, you can have some fun, but at the same time, it can put you in some really bad situations, and it's expensive. It can be you can have a very expensive night out. One of my friends, interestingly enough, called Alex, he got his student loan for university. So in the UK, when you go to university, you can get a thing called a student loan, like you can in many places. And he got it put into his bank account, and exactly the same night, because they do like everybody goes out and drinks on that night. He spent the entirety of his student loan that on one evening. It was gone, all of it. Every single pound he had went on a night out, like $1,000, like 1,500 or 2,000. It was the first installment. He was screwed.
Tis a fine morning.
Yeah, drinking's not particularly for me. I like to stay in control of my faculties. I can't particularly drink that much anymore anyway. If anybody here is younger and they're intending to drink alcohol, like we're talking about like 17 sort of year-olds, no, his parents certainly weren't proud of him. Space fine morning. know your limits is my point. Like, don't overdo it. Like, when you start, if you're gonna start drinking, do it, but do it maturely. There's a reason that we don't let kids drink.
Ooh, that's some bad weather we're having today, ain't it?
Your yacht cooking days. There's either two things that I take from that. Sir 𝗘𝗡𝗚 was a chef on a yacht, or he cooked yachts. Ah, there goes 𝗘𝗡𝗚 cooking yachts on the barbecue again. Fine weather. Or both.
Ain't it? Wonder if I could raise children as... I wonder if I could raise children as good as I raise my dough. Now, in the oven.
Cross. See, there's some people out there that I wouldn't want to get drunk with. One of them is Sir 𝗘𝗡𝗚. Because I think if if both me and Sir 𝗘𝗡𝗚 got drunk together, the way that I picture it is, we would probably end up invading a country. I think that's kind of essentially how that would go. That's the vibe I get. I think we would end up... it's that level of danger I think we would go in. Okay, so we're up to first the dough, right? Yeah, first the dough. It probably would be France as well. Stand aside, dear boy. We've come to commandeer the Louvre. Okay, so let's...
Ain't nothing quite like the smell of fresh bread in the morning, eh, my lord?
Okay, so it's the fresh bread. In honesty, I'll level with you. The French are not as bad as what people think. They're harder than the Spanish in terms of invasions. They are genuinely, jokes aside, they're a lot of intelligent people in France. Their war strategy, historically speaking, was very, very, very good. It only sort of fell apart, really, in the 20th century with World War II. But, you know, the American independence owes itself to France. They were supported by the French. We were fighting, the English were fighting on two fronts. We were fighting France at the same time as we were dealing with America. But you've got to remember is, at the time, I know that Americans refer to it as the War of Independence, and that's true, but at the time that was a civil war, because they were English people fighting against English people. And at the time, we were fighting against the French, which was a bigger threat and closer to our capital's doorstep. So, we ended up splitting our troops and dealing with France and America, and we sent less to America than what we would have done because we were dealing with France. So the American independence might not have ever happened had France not been kicking off at the same time. Because there would have been more troops to have sent there. Including some of the best military strategists of the time, because they were sent to go deal with France. So it would have probably been not necessarily a different outcome, but a different story had there been more. So we kind of joke about the French, but they're decent. Right, so this was... What was this one? That's the dough. This is fresh bread. These are just the... Oh yeah, this is the funky smell one, right?
Oh, something smells proper disgusting in here.
So one of the things that I'm working on, other than the voices, I have predominantly been working on voice stuff over the weekend because it was something I could come back to here and there whilst doing other stuff. I've been working on putting in some of the stuff that should have been in the 1.17 update. There is already glow squids that are in Arcadia. I'm working on putting things in like the Warden and Lush Caves and stuff like that. So we've got all of the missing blocks because the caves and cliffs element isn't needed. Have a nice time, Kuski. So yeah, none of that is needed. So the world generation from Biomes You Go and stuff is better than the generation that's coming with caves and cliffs. So it's really more cave related stuff and some of the mobs, some of the recipes.
Here, you wouldn't fire me over that now, would you, my lord?
That's a wave file. That's not what I mean to save that as. 𝗥𝗚𝗚𝗘𝗖𝗞. Okay, so this is going to fire me. Until the height increase, at least. Well, there's mods that you can raise and lower the heights. It's not... I mean, you've been able to do that in Forge for years. So... Because it's only build height. It only raises, essentially, build height. Because you can technically go higher. It's the lower part that's slightly more difficult to code. Because you have to then recode it to do minuses. But the actual height, in terms of like where you can build up to... That's been configurable for ages with Forge mods. So we're up to there, right? Going to fire me. Now there is nothing at this point. In honesty, there is nothing at this point that Mojang could really put in that hasn't been done by somebody else previously. The sad thing is that with 1.17/1.18. The stuff that they're putting in has been done already, some of which years before, and also almost all of it was done better.
See you then.
Which is the sad thing. Mojang should hire some more mod developers. It had a really great spurt of energy when they hired some of the mod developers to work there, but I think they need to add a little bit more to it. There are some amazing modders out there. There are people that have done the full Caves and Cliffs update with all of the new mobs, all of the cave generation, all of the cliffs, everything in its entirety, for 1.16.5 or 1.16 or even 1.12. Somebody's done it for 1.12, if I remember correctly as well. That increases the build height and lowers the depth, puts in all of the blocks. And they've done all of that as a mod and made it work with 1.12 as two people before Mojang have managed to do it full stop. which is kind of shows you that they should hire some of these talented people. There is a lot of talented people out there that work on mods.
Wow, we've had a great harvest this year, my lord. Good day to you.
Oh, I messed that up. Okay, let's save this for a moment. Because we can come back to this. Oh, of course I have a folder called that. Actually, I will save as that. Okay. So that's essentially, guys, what we have to do. We have to carp all of them. I'm not going to do all of them on stream because there's a lot. And also there's some sounds that I don't want people to hear until the testing phase. They're not getting put into the game right now, so we can leave them off. So if we return to our document and we head over to our development to-do list, we have some stuff. I still have not found a way to do any of this related thing. So, over the weekend, 𝗘𝗡𝗜𝗥𝗘, which is the site where I obtain a lot of the mods, pretty much all of the mods. It's the best resource out there for mods for Minecraft. They had a DDoS attack, and I wasn't, like, nobody was able to access it for the entire weekend. So I wasn't able to do any of the things that I said I would do for this stream, related to doing in-game things, because I had no way of accessing the website. A few people had some luck with using the Wayback Machine to access certain pages that had been archived by the Wayback Machine. But for the most part, the whole site was dead. It was just gone. It was shut behind Cloudflare, DDoS protection, and no one could access it. So a lot of these things will need to get done tomorrow as a result, so I can actually look at the stuff, because the site only came back up late last night. It was down for like pretty much 3 days. So I'll be looking at those tomorrow. As a result, I'm aware that this is gonna be a much shorter stream because there's less for me to show you, because there's not really been much development, and I'm not able to do the development on stream because the things that we need to develop I've not been able to access. So with that in mind, I thank you for tuning in today. It's always fun to do these streams. I know this is a much shorter stream than what I normally do. Tomorrow we will probably make up for that and do a little bit of a longer stream, maybe like a 3-hour stream instead of 2. When I have more stuff that I can do, now that CurseForge is actually back up, there's still a few pages that aren't loading. They've essentially put it into like a protection mode, so there's a few things that aren't working correctly, but according to their site, it should all be ironed out relatively soon. So tomorrow I should be able to have a lot more stuff to show you. if there is anybody that is watching that has the certified chill tag, I am normally always in armchair conversations after the stream, which I will probably, I'll probably be in there after this stream, even though I'm going to get something to eat soon. So yes, thank you all so much for watching. It's always fun to do these streams. Tomorrow I will do a longer stream to make up for the fact that this one has been a little bit shorter. I'm aware that we really only just discussed, we just had a conversation tea session and did a little bit of sound editing, but it's not the stream I wanted to do today. Sadly, out of my control. There are people in this world that like to play around with scripts and decided to DDoS CurseForge for whatever reason that they had for doing that. So we'll get on that tomorrow. Everybody, I hope you have a very nice day. I have been the 𝗔𝗔𝗓𝗏, and I will catch you tomorrow.
Next time, boxheads.